All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're all watching us from. You're welcome to this episode of Talking Finance. It's a good weekend here in Nigeria, and I know we're having the same thing all over the world. On our guest today, we're having Mr. Emmanuel Dosian, a microfinance professional, a certified one at that. I call him the recovery apostle. He's frequent on LinkedIn. He's an astute professional in his field. Today we'll be having one or two discussions based on microfinancing, recovery, and our team topic today is talking about building a strong loan repayment culture here in Nigeria and all over the world. We'll just be taking some series of questions. Emmanuel has been somebody I've known to know his onions very, very well. And I know he's going to do justice to some of the questions that we're going to be asking him. Talking Finance Platform is a platform where we talk real financial issues shaping the economy. On today's discussion, we'll be building more on strong repayment culture in Nigeria. And like I said before, our guest is Mr. Emmanuel Dosian. Mr. Emmanuel, we thank you for joining us on Talking Finance Live, where we're discussing building a strong loan repayment culture in Nigeria. Before I start my question, let's hear Mr. Emmanuel's voice. Let him tell us one or two things we don't know about him. So, Mr. Emmanuel, the floor is open.
All right, thank you very much, viewers, and thank you everyone for the opportunity, most especially Leon Consulting for giving me the platform for us to talk about microfinance generally, whether it's fintech space, whether it's NFB. Banks generally, when it comes to issue of recovery, and we've been in this space for 14 years, contributing our quota to the growth and development of microfinance in Nigeria and across the globe. Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you very, very much. Let me have this opening question with you. From your experience, how would you describe current loan recovery landscape? Let's start with Nigeria.
Okay, let's start with Nigeria. Nigeria is a wonderful country, bustling business, high prospect for growth, and that is why you are seeing every day people are going into the lending space because it's very lucrative. However, a lot of jump into it, they haven't got bonds, especially the young fintech company that just see seed funding and they jump into it. They don't know anything about the market. They have technology, it's just to throw the money around. And trust my people, when they collect it, they see it as free money. It's government money. Some even misinterpret it to say that it's given money that they are giving us back. So when you see those kind of people, we are, in terms of our recovery and collections, we are still in a growing stage. We are not where we used to be. Things have changed with the advent of the credit bureau. It has made things better. It's not where we want to be because of presently yesterday. Like 2 days ago, I'm still appealing to CBN and our very Mr. Cardozo to actually look at the part which is the GSI, Global Standing Instructions, which will be a game changer for lenders. And I believe it's possible. It will bring sanity to the space. And it will make a lot of people understand that when you collect money, you have an obligation to pay back the money. So, like I said, we are still in a growing stage. We are not yet matured. And I believe we have a lot we can learn. And we are still learning in this space. Thank you.
Now, looking at it from the Nigerian aspect, on the global space, how is recovery like? Because we want to do a comparison where we have a system that works, where people have data to manipulate, where you get accurate standing of a defaulter's performance. But it's not so in Nigeria, where we have to do that with probably the credit bureau we have. We don't have that data bank structure where you can easily go straight and pick direct information about the client. Yes, you did make mention about GSI, which I know some banks are making use of it, but I don't think it's still that very much accessible to microfinance institution. Looking at it from the Nigerian aspect and the global aspect, what differentiates our recovery system from the global practice in recovery standard?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to use Africa. I'm going to use globally. Nigeria, we are still doing our recovery using the muscle type, in the sense that you still need to reach people individually, one-on-one. If anybody tells you today that don't bother yourself, we have a technology that we track people down and stuff like that, the person is just only deceiving you when it comes to you. As far as it's concerned, group physical visitation is still the most effective in Nigeria today, because one, we are still struggling with database. We have a very poor database system. Even the credit bureau, there are so many people that are not being captured, especially the young lenders. They are not fully reported on credit bureau. We still have a gap there. Compared to what is it in Kenya, for example, I happen to work closely with Kenya market. The credit bureau system is working very perfectly, very well, better than some of the like Nigerian markets. People are scared of, because they are able to integrate their credit bureau with the TransUnion. You know, if you go to UK now, TransUnion is Equifax, and TransUnion is very popular. And when you hold abroad, it's not as if debtor does not exist abroad, they exist. But the fear of the fact that it will crumble your credit, if you have a bad credit history in UK, US, you are more or less like a dead person, because you cannot achieve anything, because the economy is driven by a credit economy. Unlike our own economy that we are still, somebody will, okay, let me give you a good example, the card system. Somebody can borrow from you today, for example, and after you have disbursed the loan to the person, what the person does is that we go back to the bank and change the card.
Wow.
So when you change the card, how do you do direct debit? So when somebody said we have even the direct debit system, let me tell you the funny part of the direct debit system. You will need to authorize each of the direct debit system. The client will need to authorize those direct debit system for you to be able to, okay, if the one account is missing. But it shouldn't be. What GSI will naturally do is that it will be able to sweep the accounts directly. You understand? What people do is that if they give you account A, that okay, you are putting mandate on account A or account B, what they will do is that they move their money to money points.
Wow.
And there's no direct debit mandate on money points. So the lenders need to be one step higher, smarter than that is why most of the consumer lenders have been a proponent of the fact that consumer loans will continue to be very expensive in the country. That is why people do SME loans that are mostly collateral based in this part of the world. If you want to do the big names, I don't want to mention them specifically. They know what that are into consumer lending. There are very few are doing it, and if they are doing it, that they are just in one branch, one location, sending money to people. I have a close associate who said for every 10 loans that they disburse, they have the belief that three of them will fully repay, the next 2 will pay parts, and maybe the next 4 will not even pay anything. So if you're a lender, so that is why you can see some people charge as high as crazy as high as 18% per month, so that you can cover those that will not pay.
Now, so, let me just drop in there. What then becomes the problem? Is it the high interest rates, or people that are gullible, just accepting these rates? What if people refuse to accept these rates? What happens? Who's now the bigger? Who's creating these problems?
In a poor nation, a country that there are so many poor people. When they collect, is desperation. Even if you put it at 50%, they will collect. They know that they don't have intention of repaying the loan. So do you know what they do? Is it not free money? Let's just collect. Is it not, go and put me whatever you want to do? And what do? They will call. you will use telecaller. They will call. They will just that's why you see it will come a scammer. They will not change it on Truecaller. They call it scammer. When you call them, they call you scammer.
That's a very funny one.
It's an interesting people. They are not ready to pay. There are very few people that are honest to that point that when they collect money and they know that you don't know their house and you will not send this thing. So the only thing they will do is that, okay, out of fair with them, by that, if they even try out of 6 months, if you give them 6 months, if they even try to pay 2 installments, they've tried. And they just go and put their name there. And there are some people that is just to tell you the situation of things. And it's quite sad in the industry. We are not where we were, but we are not where we should be as a nation. So when you look at it globally, because as big as Nigeria, we should be the place that we should build our infrastructure. This also has to do with infrastructure. Most of these lenders that you are seeing, they are loan sharks. Some of the lenders who have their own parts. They are loan shark. They are not ready to, what they are just interested in, how much, they just said there's money in the space. They have one free cheap money somewhere and they want to just jump on it and take their own share of it. But a lot of people, that is why you see some, I don't want to demarket any brand. And that's why I'm not going to mention it. There are people that have started as, they came into the space as a lender. But today, they are service provider. Wow. They don't have a they're not doing a loan management system for people. They are selling software rather than the lending. They got their hand pumped, millions of naira gone, and they now saw that it's not business they can do. And they left, and they went into selling software. You understand? So they are now selling software. They are not doing software as a business, rather than the lending they wanted, because they've sold their hands got burnt. So that is where we are.
Now, talking about the economy as a whole, to what extent do economic factors, let's take inflation, let's take unemployment, let's take exchange rate volatility, in what way do all of these affect loan repayments?
One thing is character. One thing is capacity. We cannot truly exonerate debtors from the fact that economy also, poor economic system, unemployment. But the real truth is that character also play a key role in all this. If, for example, somebody knows that he doesn't have capacity to repay loan, so why do you collect in the first place? So when you are saying there's an inflation and there's this and there's that, you would have known these factors does not open overnight. It did not change. You collected the loan. The terms and conditions were clearly spelled out to you. So why did you collect the money? You know that you are unemployed. You have lost job. But because of the fact that you want to survive, you went to go and collect a loan of 600,000 naira from one fintech company. You know you have lost your job. So what is the meaning of repayment? They will say when we get there, we'll cross it.
That's a bad thing.
So people don't value their credit. It's only when they now saw that probably those fintech companies report them, the banks report them, and they now have something higher that they need to get somewhere. That is when they start running and running to those companies and asking for I'm owing you. What can you do for me to liquidate? Because they are looking for. And the pathetic part of it is that lenders will see that these people have bad credit history. Some lenders will still go ahead and give them money.
I can see quite a lot of them on the Facebook. They will tell you if you have bad credit, don't worry, we will give you. I still saw one yesterday. If you have bad credit, come, it's ruled out, we'll give you. And it's just crazy.
Some people will even, as a way of packaging they know how to navigate. They understand your scoring system. They know what you require. Even the traditional lenders too. There's a way they are credit officer because of the fact that they also give them very crazy targets. They overfinance some of these businesses and knowing fully well that the economy is such let me even put it to you now that do you know that there are some microfinance banks today that they will not give you loan less than 1 million naira.
Wow.
So what does it mean? So
that's-
small nano businesses are forced to even take more than. So they now increase the target of their credit officer. They say because of profitability, we throw away inclusion. So what now happened is that these people are forcing people to take more than what they can afford to repay, because you have to look at in your credit decisioning, you have to look at your capacity to repay. So the question now is that if the credit officer is under pressure, they know your credit technology, they know everything, they package this client, collect more than what they. I have had an experience whereby one person told the client, what you just need to do is to make your first repayment. After that, pay the other ones because you want to meet targets.
That's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
When you look at all these things, economic factor is there. You cannot deny the fact that we understand how it is in the country, how inflation has eroded the purchase power of many people. But the truth still remains. Character is also a challenge. There are some parts that today, the demography shows that you cannot lend people in that local government. If you give money, you are giving free money. So they don't have a credit culture. If you do there are some states that the local government that they've mapped them that the lenders of today don't even go there because they know they don't want to pay.
Let me ask about, we'll talk about customers not wanting to pay. Do you think some loan defaulters are intentional, which means willful, or they are unintentional? They are unintentional. It's not they don't want to default. Is it willful or unwillful? And we are going to be asking this based on the fact that you are in this field for a very good number of years, and you have interacted with people you try to recover from. Most of their acts of not paying, is it willful or unwillful? What makes them willful defaulters and unwillful defaulters?
There are genuine cases where people default, as in have a genuine reasons for defaulting. Circumstances beyond their control, those one exists. That is why when you are classifying debtors, there are three types: a willing debtor without capacity, an unwilling debtor without capacity, unwilling debtor with capacity, unwilling debtor without capacity. The worst of them, unwilling debtor without capacity. That loan is a written off loan. You see, unwilling debtor with capacity. By the time you have an instrument that you can use against him, some you don't necessarily. Part of the strategy that we use is that when you see somebody he has capacity, but he's just not unwilling. Some of them will just be flimsy excuses that somebody talked to me, I do it the way he doesn't like. I just want to punish the person. Some is an ego thing. You just have to rub the ego and play along with it. Some of them, if the consequences, if they have a check, you present check and threaten to use a door check, which is a criminal offense. That it makes them scared and they pay. So there are technicalities in all this. But some people just use a blanket approach and think that is it not just go and chase the debtors? I tell people, one of the problems that people have today, if you are not smart enough, the customers are becoming very smarter. The debtors are becoming very much smarter. And if you are not very, very sound, they will end up getting damages from you in tens of millions. That's why you cannot afford to just employ anybody. Anybody cannot be a recovery specialist. You must have been in that field, understand? See, there are tricks that they can use for you. There is a particular microfinance bank before now, they know them to locking people inside the toilet. But today they cannot hear it. Because the client has made millions from them. Knowledge today, nobody is a monopoly of knowledge now. information spread easily today. So there are some things, crude, unethical approach that you can use in recovery before, that if you try it today,
it will work.
You will end up spending, it could even affect your entire company, because the client will sue you to the point that claim damages that can sink your company. So when people come, I'm a recovery, okay. But the reality is that you have to look at certain things, cases in recovery. Recovery is very tactical. You have to diagnose it. See what the first thing first is, that you need to understand why this client is in overdue. Before the client will tell you the real reason why he's in overdue, he may have told you 2 lies or 3 lies before now telling you the real reason. And who knows the real reason is the customer. And how do you get to know the real reason? We determine how you manage the situation. So when you know the real reason why it's in overdue, you will now know what is the right treatment I'm going to give to this. Because if you don't know the real reason, you'll be treated. It's just like a doctor. You visit the doctor today, you say, I am having malaria. And it's not really malaria that you are having. The husband will only administer anti-malaria drugs on you. He will just look for one of this thing and see. But you just say, you treated for malaria and it's not going, because it's not malaria that you have.
Yeah.
That is how the COVID is. You must get to the root cause of the problem. When you have understood what the problem is, you will now know what strategy can you adopt to get results.
Talking about, I think we'll focus more on our customers and our clients. Let's look at the internal structures of this organization, be it commercial banks, be it microfinance bank, be it fintech, be it finance house, anything finance. Now, what internal challenges do these institutions face in recovering loans? Don't worry about the fact that they disburse this loan, either it's good or bad. They have their own internal challenges that is making these things difficult, making this money difficult to recover. What do you think those internal recovery challenges, and how do you think they can better mitigate against such?
See, if you don't want to have problem with debt recovery, it starts from the loan origination.
Good.
Your credit risk framework must be tight. One of the problems that most of organizations, they want to scale, they want to run very fast, they want to scale at the expense of doing the right thing. They open their risk window and lend this loan. Okay, now the loan is bad. The thing is that you need to have a professional that can say, okay, let's take this approach to recover. Okay. It's not just about we want to recover, we are running up and down. You don't even, that there must be someone who knows exactly what is the problem. And your staff also, the skills that your staff has, we go a long way how far you are able to recover. And also, part of what the organization is so much concerned about profit. What is the incentive that is on ground that is tied to that your credit recovery? Because if you don't have enough a good incentive, I'm not going to say one structure is bad. Some organization, some people are the ones, their own is just to disburse loan. What even if they disburse today, the loan is bad tomorrow, they don't have any consequence for it. That system is not a working system. The person that disbursed the loan, they should have some degree of responsibility for the collection of the loan. Some people just say we have a recovery department that is in handling the collection and recovery. But you that disbursed the loan, you know that from the day one you did a bad job. Credit risks, because of the pressure to hit in target, maybe for example, your target for the branch target for the month is about maybe 30 billion.
Mr. Abel, let me speak for these officers we are talking about. Some of them, they are the same credit officers or loan officers or marketing officers. They also act as savings or deposit mobilization. They also act as credit analysts or credit officers. Now we want them to be recovery officers. Come on.
No, what happened is this. I'm just trying to explain organization want to do to see all this. I started my career as a sales client advisor, and as a sales client advisor, mobilizing deposits from my bank.
Okay.
Mobilizing deposit is a different ballgame with credit business. You cannot be giving somebody, and these things are always very with MFI and MFD. One person will be the one doing everything. It doesn't work like that. However, when it comes to credit, whoever disburses loan knows where the pressure point is.
I agree with you on that.
Knows a lot of things about that loan. I didn't disburse this loan. I just pick up the file. I'm going to do, if that person does not, either bonus tied to that disbursement, that if this loan go bad, you will fulfill certain XYZ bonus.
Okay.
It will put a kind of caution on the person. Or maybe if this loan go bad and we find out there was something, it comes back to your portfolio, and at the end of the day, we add up to your performance or something, it will not put caution.
I get you.
A sales officer is interested in meeting target. Anyhow, he meets the target, doesn't matter. We are the back end people that is going to pack the, I use the word sheets that they have done.
I use the word beans that has been cooked.
Okay, beans that has been cooked. So when these things now come back to me, and I said, personally, I'm not interested how the problem has happened, let's find solution.
Yeah.
I am not the how do I put it? I'm not the compliance officer. Neither am I audit. Let them go and find out that one by themselves and query the person. Mine is to recover the money. The problem is on ground. Let's find a solution around whatever beans that you have cooked and everything. It will be obvious. We will know it. But let me tell you, there is something that organizations are ignoring, and it's coming back to them. There are so much information that recovery officers have that can help the organization, but organization is not, they are not exploring it. The best branch manager or risk person need to also have a recovery experience, because we are the one on the field. We are the one visiting. We are the one enforcing repossession and everything. We know what our eyes are seeing. Is it sleeping in police station? The loss is not even encouraging. Despite that, there is a law called Secure Transaction in Immovable Assets that gives us the right that we can repossess this thing.
And
you will see, no matter we still get to, yes, to repossess is there. The guideline.
Let me jump into the Nigerian legal system and the judicial system when it comes to loan recovery. Is the Nigerian legal system actually supporting loan recovery or making it difficult?
See, today, there are cases that are recovery cases that have been in the court for the past 6 years. So the question now is that what is the time value of that money in 6 years' time? Even if you get judgment, two things may have happened. There are a lot of people that have gotten judgments. Enforcement is difficult. There is nothing to enforce the judgment on. You spend money, pay lawyer for 6 years to pursue a matter. You get judgment after 5, 6 years. So the question now is that after getting that judgment, there is nothing. The client does not have anything again left. So the judicial system on its own, you know, law is evidence-based. It's not you just come and emotion. You have to prove this. Okay, let me tell you.
Based on technical basis.
Let me tell you. When we go to court, you will file an action in court, either motion for summary judgment, or I've worked with quite a number of lawyers. Sometimes when I talk the thing, maybe I'm a lawyer. You will file an action in court for the recovery of debt, either through summary judgment or the normal motion. So the thing is that when you file that action in court, they will give you a date. Sometimes it will be every 2 months that you will go. The courts, I know of a particular court that in a whole year, one of my matter, they only start once in a whole year on that matter.
Wow.
In this
365
country.
days. That's not nice. It's
That
not
is
nice.
one day. And we'll be traveling down there. When you get to court, they say, sorry, the person is not, the magistrate is not
The judge
feeling
is
fine.
not on seat.
He's indisposed. That day is gone. They give you another 2 months to appear again. You go. They're having legal week. A whole year, only just one that will appear. And it's a criminal case. So the question is that, as a lender, will you be encouraged to go back to? You're at a point you just look at this thing. You are just wasting time, and the person knows that let's go to court. But there is also not everything is not bad. We now have what they call small claim courts for amount that is not that is below 5 million. In some states, it's below 3 million, 2 million. So those ones, all things being equal, within 6 to 8 months, you should be able to get judgments. But it still depends on the capacity of that business. If the client will still have anything left. Because before you go to court, remember, it's not going to be your first point of call. Court is your last resort.
Explore
when
all options.
You have to explore all options, proof registration, you have done payment agreement, you have done restructuring, you have done everything, and it's still not. So at the end of it, you now visit the court. Just like when they say the cause of war, police, if recovery will become so easy, they will say police not a recovery agent. That is it.
Police actually is not a recovery agent.
That is what I'm saying. Police is not a recovery agent. But if you read that secure transaction immovable asset, says that you can actually seek the support of the police.
Yeah,
so
I get you.
So they said you can actually get. Police will even be the one to instigate the customer that it should take you to court. At the end of it, when you now go to court, they will charge you. You go to prison, they will charge you for. This is it, though. They know that they don't have any case. You went to go and confiscate the customer. You did all your due diligence. You did everything. The customer go and report to police. Maybe they know one police officer. They say you don't have the right to confiscate. They will charge you for stealing. They will charge you for unlawful seizure. Client will carry one thing and break it. They will charge you for malicious damage. They will put like 3-4 charges on you. When you go to court, if it's in some states, they will send you to prison. After that, you will not be going to court. After 3 years, they strike the case that there is no basis for that. But you that you are the lender, you have suffered. You will now come back and start pursuing your recovery of debt. Do you understand how it is? Yeah. But imagine that we have DSI, that when you owe me, I will just be sweeping your account until my money complete. Do you think that the customer will not be, a debtor will not be reasonable to look into resolving matters?
Now, I do know of a case then in Andhra Pradesh in India, where the government are not sympathetic to customers' plight. They are owing, it's a problem. A lot of them were actually committing suicide. It had to take the intervention of the government to stop such. So I want to believe if the government is actually involved in recovery process of institutions, it will help. Now, that being said, I did remember as we started this interview session, you did talk about pleading to the governor of CBN. You never can say. He might stumble upon this video and something will be done. You did make mention about GNI and how much it will help. I really want you to reiterate that again, and let's let people hear what and how it could help recovery process in Nigeria.
Yes, it has. The situation is actually getting better in the country, where FCC, that is a Federal Consumer Protection Council, FCCPC is actually cracking down on loan sharks. Before now, you will see people doing things like they will put obituary because somebody is owing. They are not they are unethical practice. They will say somebody, they will declare somebody wanted without police clearance or something. These are still even in practice till today, where people, they will send obituary of somebody. Some of them, they will even call their wife that their husband has been kidnapped. Stories, funny things like that. It still exists today. Raining courses on customers and all those things. That is why FCCPC is actually doing an incredible job. But as much as government is protecting the customer, it doesn't want their rules of engagement. Don't call the customer at a certain time of the night. Don't use certain words on the customer. But you know, Nigerians, those lenders, loan sharks, were actually getting results. Yeah, because it's a crook way of doing it. Because of the kind of people you are dealing with. You also, when you are dealing with a crook, you also come with a crook approach.
The long walk.
But that is not really an ideal practice. Because if they go to court, they wait for this number of years and stuff like that. They will post them, ole, like the Bible say, ole. They will post a lot of videos, show their pictures and all these things. Do everything, like humanizing them, and that forces them to pay. But it's not a good practice. I also want to say that CBN, institutional framework for CBN, and also FCCPC should also protect the lender so that they don't run out of business. As you are running to customer, why have you not paid? Let it be that the customer has actually asked the lender to actually intervene, support in the recovery process, and they blatantly refuse. For example, a customer that had the new concern, maybe goods were seized, or he had problem, fire, burglary, and all those things, loss of funds, and all those things. We can enter into payment agreements, and if the customer is keeping to it, we can do restructuring.
Exactly.
So we can do a whole lot of things, but the customer must also know that whether these things happen to you or did not happen to you, you have an obligation to pay back the money.
Exactly.
So when we have those things in place, the lender will have more confidence to do the business. That is the part that we have to, as you are cautioning the lenders, also caution the borrowers.
The borrowers
that
too.
when you collect money, a lot of sensitization has to go around, both for the lenders and the borrowers. So that
could you touch on GSI for us, sir? GSI. Global Standing Instruction.
Yes, GSI is actually very good. It's done over. Commercial banks are actually using it, but Microfinance Bank has not yet started. Microfinance Bank, fintechs are not yet started. It's actually something that would help us. So that if you borrow from Bank A and run to Bank B and be putting your money in Bank B, the Bank A should be able to have access to Bank B and Bank C and and take their money from your account.
What's actually stopping MFIs and MFBs from having access to this?
It's still the CBN framework. CBN have to put infrastructure in place, which I believe that with the NIPS as what it's, since it's the same settlement. Since it's the same settlement, we have the settlement, which is NIPS. Exactly. They should be able to make that possible for both fintech, microfinance bank, and commercial bank to be able to. And which I believe that will be a big game changer for recovery efforts in Nigeria.
Yeah, I believe so too. Because of time, let me just take one or two more questions. Let me focus on technology this time. And how is technology shaping recovery?
Technology is actually the hinting now. Let me just give you a simple example. Without technology, remember those days that every loan that you want to is the paper. Everybody's using paper.
Mm-hmm.
Same bank. Somebody will go to bank A, the branch A, and collect money. He will go to branch C, collect money. That same bank, because there was when technology now came, not even now, it will be very difficult for such things to happen. Technology has really done so much to help.
Mm-hmm.
Because now imagine that with your BVN, with your NIN now, you can easily pull the information of anybody. Credit Bureau has also technology coming in place. It has helped us to, we now have more technology that can detect your fingerprints, they can verify your KYC to be sure that this is the person you're actually dealing with. The same thing too that was happening those days, that people will use another person's passport and travel. But technology is actually the game changer. It has made us more smarter, make the work faster, reduce the workload. That's why you see a lot of some of these fintech companies that you are seeing today that are having hundreds of billions transactions. They are powered by technology. That is why, look at what happened in the market space today. Why do you think that an average business now, I will force to mention this, 2 out of 3 businesses is using money points? Do you know what that means? Last year, the volume of transaction that Money Point did was in trillion naira.
Can imagine.
In just last year alone. So you can imagine the level of what technology has done.
Exactly.
And fintech company now came and put the commercial bank. Look at commercial bank of those days that if you need a debit card, you will have to go and apply and wait for the next 1 month.
You have to climb Mount Everest before you can get one.
What are you saying? Now everything, these people came and changed the dynamics.
And make it so easy.
Local women are now having OPay accounts, PAMPay accounts. Inclusion it is technology that brought this inclusion.
Yeah. I agree.
And it will get better. That's why I say we are in a growing stage. We are not where we used to be. We are not there yet.
But we can still do more to get there.
Technology has actually enabled us to do so many things.
Oh.
And we are still going to unlock more technology in the near future.
Are you optimistic about the loan recovery, in general?
I'm still telling you that as we are driving with the president in that we are moving towards credit economy, we will get there to the point that GSI will come live. In the next, mark my word, in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we will start implementing full GSI. As in, if Nigeria go live with this trillion economy that we are driving, $1 trillion economy that we are driving, more credits will be unlocked. And it means that the hope of, and once GSI is activated, there is no more hiding place for debtors. Will there still be debtors? Of course. Those ones that does not have capacity, it will not be those ones that does not have capacity that we have to look at other alternatives. We now look at other alternative of how we will recover our money, but that you will be keeping one money inside one account in Bank C after you have collected money from Bank A. Like we say, work.
In one sentence, Mr. Emmanuel, what advice do you have for policymakers, financial institutions? What takeaway do we want them to get in this discussion, all in all?
Okay, on the final note, we still have a gap, and that is where policymakers have to come in. We want to encourage them that they still have an oversight function that is regulatory wise over these fintech companies to strengthen them and make them more reliable. I am still not happy that CBN is not still regulating fintech company. They are leaving it for FCCPC and state license, state lender license. All fintech digital lenders, as it is in Kenya, is under is CBK that is managing their. They did a framework for them. They need to bring them into that umbrella, check what they are doing. It will also help to curb any form of terrorism financing and every other this. Fintech lenders should come into the regulation of CBN. Also to the lenders. Lenders must also, in the quest of scaling, to also understand that scaling without taking cognizance of the survival of the business continuity, is like throwing money in the wind. And to also to the borrower. When you collect money, have a clear-cut plan from day one, how you want to pay back the money. Lenders who gave you this money borrow the money also from somewhere, which they are also having an obligation to their co-investors. So they have an obligation to co-investors. We encourage you that you pay back so that you can collect again. And that is the only guarantee way to reduce the interest rate that is very high in this country. You cannot be collecting loan as they are real MSE who are doing genuine businesses. You cannot be collecting money at the rate of 60% and you think that you want to do anything tangible.
No, it won't work.
I'm still an advocate that the interest rate should go as low as single digits or maximum 15%, so that it can unbundle people if you want to do certain things. And the only way, because what we are doing in Nigeria is riskless, as in risk-based. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Udose, the Republic Apostle. Thank you for joining all our viewers on the episode of Talking Finance. We appreciate our guests for sharing this valuable insight. You can join us to talk about finance, policy, innovation, impact, right here on Talking Finance through Microfinance Arena channel. And I do encourage you to subscribe to the Microfinance Arena and stay informed on everything that's shaping the microfinance world here and around. Mr. Emmanuel, thank you very much. We hope to have you soon and soonest. We're having a couple of programs coming, Microfinance Skill and Career Enhancement Program, which will be coming on the 7th of March next month. We hope to have you there. You can check the bio or posted on this page link. You have every information you want there. Mr. Emmanuel, we thank you very much. We do appreciate you. See you next time on.
It's a pleasure.
Episode. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right.